Okay, guys, hi. This is All in Eklund Lifestyle. Hi. Happy Monday. I hope all is well. Year 2026. Please do subscribe as you enter in, and please do be nice throughout the day. So let's do an icebreaker, guys. This ship has 10,000 people on board, and of course, out of the port of Miami, which is the largest port in the world. In case none of you guys knew that, this is the largest ship in the world. So let's just take a look, okay, and enjoy. And let me know if in the comment if you take cruises or not. I'm not a cruise type of a chick. I will if I absolutely have to, but I will fly before I take a cruise. And I know how to swim. Excelento it, okay? But I don't play the ocean thing. Let's get started.
Nearly 10,000 people, more than some Caribbean islands, have residents. Every one of them will spend a week surrounded by engineering so advanced and so well hidden that most would never know it existed. Because behind the water
Look how
slides,
beautiful,
the infinity
guys.
pools, and the 20 decks of all-inclusive paradise,
20 decks of nothing but fun, food, and entertainment. Let's continue.
a crew of 2,350 was quietly running something that has more in common with a nuclear submarine than a vacation. A floating city with its own power grid, its own water supply, its own hospital, and a waste system cleaner
Own power grid, own hospital. Wow, let's continue.
than most countries allow on land. This is the icon of the seas, $2 billion,
Whoa.
250,800 gross tons. And almost every system on board was designed to do at least two jobs at the same time, starting with a 52-foot art installation you see here that 10,000 guests walk past every single day without realizing it's the only thing keeping the deck above their heads from collapsing.
Did you hear that, guys? They're talking about this right here. The way that it's built. I see they have solar panels too as well. Let's continue.
For 25 years, every Royal Caribbean promenade felt like a shopping mall. Dark, enclosed, no windows. When Icon's designers wanted floor-to-ceiling glass walls for the first time, the kind of ocean view you'd expect in a Manhattan penthouse, they hit a wall, literally. The steel beams holding up the staterooms and Central Park on Deck 8 ran right through that space. Rip out the beams and the upper decks have nothing to stand on. Keep them and the promenade stays dark. So they poured all that structural load into a single sphere of finished steel and wrapped it in kinetic art. The Pearl carries the weight of 3 decks above it while letting natural light flood a space that spent a quarter century in the dark. One object, 2 problems solved. But the Pearl only handles one space. The rest of the vessel has a much bigger issue. 7,600 people trying to use it at the same time. Put that many guests on a single ship without a plan, and you get hour-long waits at the buffet, pool decks so packed you can't find a chair, and a promenade that
So amazing, guys. Wow. Let's continue.
feels like a subway platform at rush hour. Icon's answer is 8 neighborhoods, self-contained zones that break the crowd into small
It says 8 neighborhoods, guys. They have Central Park too. Let's see what this is. Thrill Island, Pool Deck and Sun Zone, Sports Activity Zone, Accommodations, Dining and Entertainment, Royal Performance, and I can't see. I think this is Paradise or something of 4. I can't see the first word. This is too cool, guys, and these are all facts. Let's continue.
groups small enough that nobody feels like they're sharing a vessel with a small town.
Some AI builds a website for you, but Wix Harmony builds it.
Guys, so what do you think about this thus far?
Okay, this is where you.
Chill Island has 4 of the 7 pools, plus a swim-up bar that stays packed from noon until midnight. Thrill Island has the water park, the Flow Rider surf simulator, and a zip line 154 feet above the ocean. Surfside is built for
Wow.
families with young kids. Carousel, splash pad, arcade, and a dedicated eatery, so parents don't have to drag a 5-year-old across 8 decks for chicken nuggets. The Hideaway is adults only. Suspended infinity pool, hot tubs, and a DJ spinning tracks by the bar with a beach club vibe. You could fill every cabin.
Guys, this is a fun fact. I do know on any cruise ship, you can order off the kids menu if you like, and they also have menus that are not even on the menu. You get it? You have to speak it verbally out of your mouth, and they can prepare it for you in the back. I have family members that has been on cruises a zillion times, guys. And friends. I'm just not the one for it, but I do know a lot about it through inquiring of, but I can't make up my mind to take a cruise. I've watched too much of Titanic. Sorry. Let's continue.
Pack every pool, book every restaurant, and the guy at the Swim and Tonic Bar in Chill Island might never cross paths with the family on the float rider in Thrill Island. Same vessel, different worlds. People who sailed spring break voyages with 7,300 guests said the pool deck felt spacious, the promenade felt open, and the restaurants had seats. These neighborhoods don't just work. They work so well that the biggest problem left on the ship is what to do with the empty space above them. Decks 16 and 17. Open air, high up, too windy for lounging, too exposed for dining. Those 6 water slides on the top deck, including the tallest drop slide and the first open freefall slide ever built at sea, turned dead square footage into Icon's most photographed.
Wow, that was very savvy of them to do that, guys. Look at all the fun for the kids, but look how it's on the very top of the ship. I don't know about all this, but for those of you that can tolerate it, good for you. Go for it. And I highly recommend the Icon ship. This is the Icon, guys. If you've never heard of it before, let's continue.
Photograph feature. One of them drops you through a trap door in the floor. You stand on a platform, a countdown plays, and the bottom disappears. 17,000 square feet of rides stacked up on top of each other, keeping thousands of guests occupied in one spot, while the pools, restaurants, and bars below can breathe. But all of this, the glass walls, the pools, the whirlpools, 40 plus kitchens cooking at once, runs on electricity. And
40 plus kitchens cooking at once. Oh my G. One thing I thought about, guys, some years back was going on the cruise ship being a chef, because you know my love for food, but only if they would allow me to do it alkaline style. That's the only way, and trust me, I'm sure they would have had no problem with that. But because that's Go Green Reset is always a trending way to eat. It's not a diet, it's just a way of living.
Icon doesn't plug into anything. 14 decks below the water slides. Behind doors, nobody on vacation has any reason to open. Sit 6 engines the size of 2-story houses. Pool heaters, elevators, ovens, lights, air conditioning across 20 decks, all running off these 6 machines at the same time.
Icon of the sea,
generators alone
guys.
produce 46 megawatts. The propulsion system stacks another
Look at the
84
propellers.
on top. Enough electricity to run a small city, generated in real
Wow.
time, while that city cruises through the Caribbean at 22 knots. Producing that kind of power on a vessel that has to stay at sea for weeks takes serious.
22 knots. If you guys don't know how to differentiate 5 knots from 22, please research. I'm not going to tell you, because you need to learn of these things for yourself. Remember, critical thinking is always your number one best bet. Let's continue.
Is hardware, 3 Wärtsilä engines, 14 cylinders each, 245 tons apiece, 40 feet long.
Wow.
And 3 more smaller units at 203 tons and 34 feet. Picture something heavier than a blue whale, longer than a school bus, and
Literally, absolutely amazing, guys. Let's continue. I get. This is a big vessel. I love engines and things like that, guys. It just besoothes me how that they come up with this. I know it could be done. I should have been an engineer, I think. Let's continue.
and bolted to the keel. Now picture 6 of them rumbling away while guests 300 feet above are arguing about whether to try the sushi or the Italian place. And feeding engines that size is its own engineering problem. These machines burn liquefied natural gas, or LNG. Take natural gas, cool it to a negative 260 degrees Fahrenheit, and it squeezes down into a liquid 600 times denser than the gas that comes out of your kitchen stove. Two cryogenic tanks here hold the supply, each weighing 307 tons, insulated so heavily that negative 260-degree fuel stays liquid while the Caribbean sun bakes the deck above. Those tanks weren't even built in Finland. They were fabricated in a separate shipyard in Rostock, Germany, loaded onto barges, and towed across the Baltic Sea to the Meyer Turku yard where the hull was waiting for them. The engine room itself, generators.
Guys, now could you appreciate how much work goes into your entertainment and your holiday trips? It takes a lot to keep these things running, and it also takes the work of backs of people that have to do it, you know. So don't be so disgruntled. Let's continue.
LNG tanks, fuel systems, was assembled on a single floating unit in Germany, then towed to Finland and slotted into the hull like a drawer sliding into a desk. Two countries, one power plant, and it burns about 20% cleaner than standard ship fuel while producing almost zero sulfur. But the clever part isn't what the engines burn, it's what they throw away. Most vessels dump engine exhaust heat straight overboard. Hundreds of degrees of thermal energy wasted. What most marine engineers didn't expect was that Icon's designers would capture it. And by the time that heat dissipates, it's already made your drinking water, warmed the pool you're floating in, washed your sheets, and boiled the water for the pasta the chef is cooking 3 decks above the engine room. One heat source, 4 jobs, 0 extra fuel. Waste heat is one problem the engine solved. Here's another one that nobody expects a cruise ship to tackle. Icon takes last night's dinner scraps, leftover packaging, everything guests threw away yesterday, heats it in a sealed chamber until it breaks down into gas, and feeds that gas right back into the power grid. The technical name is microwave-assisted pyrolysis. The practical name is the garbage-powered generator. First one ever installed at sea, where every system has to work while the floor is moving. The leftover carbon gets pelletized and shipped to farmers as fertilizer. Leave it to the world's most complicated floating object to invent a new way to take out the trash. All of it, the engines, the waste heat capture, the garbage generator, feeds into a single electrical grid. And keeping that grid balanced is a full-time job. The chief engineer...
I'm really speechless, guys. They put a lot of work strategizing, I'm sure compromising because of the prices. You know, you want less for better, better for less. This is just amazing. It's mind-blowing. Wow, guys. I'm sorry. Let's continue.
Engineer manages it 24 hours a day from a control room buried in the hull. Give too much power to the air conditioning and the vessel slows down. Push too hard on speed and the guests start sweating through Caribbean heat. It's comfort versus momentum, all day, every day. And nobody upstairs has a clue it's happening. All that power has to go somewhere, and where it goes next is under the hull. This vessel has no rudder, and it can spin 1,198 feet of steel in its own length inside a harbor. 3 ABB Azipod units make that possible. Each one is an electric motor sealed inside a pod that hangs beneath the stern you see here, connected directly to a propeller. No shaft running through the hull, no gearbox, nothing between the motor and the water except thrust. 20 megawatts per pod. Each one swivels a full 360 degrees. Point it left and the vessel goes left. Point it backward, it stops. Add 5 bow thrusters at 4.8 megawatts each up front, and the captain can park this thing like a Camry, sliding it sideways.
Sorry, guys. He said the captain can park this thing like a Camry. I love my Camrys. That was my first, well, not my first car, but one of my best cars. Even though I drive foreigners now, have been for some time, but Camry, you can't go wrong, okay? So shout out to Camry dealership. Go get yourself a Camry. Let's continue.
A berth while tugboat captains watch from the dock, wondering why they bothered showing up. Most ports don't even need to send tugs anymore. Azipod propulsion has been on Royal Caribbean ships since 1999,
look how huge that
but
thing is,
Icon
guys.
scales it to a size the original engineers never imagined. 3 pods, 60 megawatts of propulsion, moving 250,000 tons of steel with the precision of a sports car in a parking garage. Steering, though, is the easy problem. Staying upright is the hard one. Take every piece of steel in this vessel, crush it into a solid block, and drop it into the ocean. Sinks immediately. Steel is about 8 times denser than water. So how does something made of steel float? Because it isn't solid. It's thousands of sealed compartments filled mostly with air. Cabins, corridors, engine rooms, void spaces, ballast tanks. The hull pushes aside more seawater than the vessel weighs, and that displaced water pushes right back. Archimedes figured this out in a bathtub 2,200 years ago. The engineers in Finland just scaled it up to something longer than the Eiffel Tower is tall. Now picture a building 250 feet tall, balanced on a foundation.
Excellento, guys. If you guys want to review the full video of this, guys, just go to Inside the World's Largest Cruise Ship Ever Built, which is the Iconic of the Sea. I hope that you've enjoyed this, and I highly would recommend you take this cruise ship if you're going to go on a cruise this summer. It seems very safe, very secured, and it has a lot of amenities. All in Eklund Lifestyle. Please do subscribe. Thank you.